Of everybody in the whole entire world, who would have thought that the kid who made Old Town Road would go on to war with fundamentalist Christians? I'm just gonna name everyone Lil Nas X has on their enemies list. Dave Chappelle, the Westboro Baptist Church, Kai Cenat, Lil Boozy, Nike, Billboard, Fox News, the governor of South Dakota, the entire conservative movement. This actually might take a while. At this point, Lil Nas X might be public enemy number one. Even though he's only been in the game for a few years, you can't deny that he's skyrocketed to become one of the most well-known and controversial celebrities in pop culture today. Part of the reason for this is that he has never played by the rules. Lil Nas X has only been in the public eye for what, like 5 years? And throughout that whole run, he's done the exact opposite of what people expect him to do. Whether it be blowing up an entire genre of music, going to war with fundamentalist Christians, or casually calling out the names of other artists who refuse to collaborate with him. Let's be real, Lil Nas X has become incredibly successful in a short amount of time. And while he might have a lot of fans, a lot of people absolutely hate him, like truly despise him. Lucky for Lil Nas X, he's become a master at using that hate as rocket fuel for his career. Right from the start, Lil Nas X's origin story was hardly anybody's idea of what a rapper or a pop star looked like. It's one thing to throw shade on your old music, but to talk about your most successful, most popular record right before you're about to drop a new album, is that bold or is that just blowing your own spot? The way things are going right now, if Doja's next album is not a smash, she might as well just light her whole career on fire. Doja Cat's career has been full of whiplash. She went from being a literal meme to a bona fide superstar to being hell-bent on dismantling her career and her fan base in a very short time. She's managed to land hit records, dream collaborations, headlining festival slots, all while bouncing back and forth between genres and being one of the most polarizing artists in the game. Doja's been mega successful, but all that is on the line with this next project because she's alienated hundreds of thousands of her fans and basically disavowed all of her own work. So the question becomes, does she have what it takes to deliver that stone cold classic that she needs? As a teenage signee with a coveted label deal, including a management agreement from Jay-Z's Roc Nation, it seemed like the whole world was at her fingertips. But her career didn't exactly take off as planned. In fact, her early years in the music business, there were a lot of growing pains. She released an EP called Purr, which it did solid, and then followed that up 4 years later with a project called Amala, which didn't necessarily meet expectations. In August of 2018, after Amala respectfully bricked, she released a music video for a song called Moo. The song's goofy as hell, and the video goes right along with it. It shows her in her childhood bedroom, rapping about being a cow while twerking in a cow costume. And against all odds, that went viral and blew up Doja's name. While her first album was all about making serious music, she realized leaning into this online, goofy personality would be a way better fit for her artistry. So in the next year, Doja doubled back with her sophomore album, Hot Pink. This is where she previewed the music that would really make her famous. The songs were a lot more playful and had way more personality to them. It was so successful that they decided to re-release Amala with the Moo single on it. But you know how the saying goes, more money, more problems. And the more fame that Doja Cat got, the more scrutiny came her way as well. And for Doja Cat specifically, the scrutiny came in the form of her online persona, which had some posts on it that got her into some real hot water. A couple old tweets came up where she was using homophobic slurs against Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt, and she got dragged for it. And instead of her apologizing and trying to show the world that she grew and, realized her wrongs, she doubled down on that, which made everything way worse. She later apologized and made a more sincere attempt, but it was too late at that point. Doja got hit with even more scrutiny when she was found hanging out in chat rooms that housed some well-known white supremacists. She was also caught dropping the N-word with the hard R in a group full of white supremacists, which is just a bad look. It's just a bad look. As for her chat room debacle, Doja denied being involved in any racist conversations, but admitted that there were some sites she was lurking on that she should not have been in. The situation caused a ton of criticism. A lot of people felt Doja was just too far gone, too far off the deep end. There's too much weird stuff, all this online crazy stuff from the past. It's just too much for her to be a conventional pop star. But in 2021, she dropped her third project, Planet Her, which took over the charts. The album was stacked with with hit single after hit single, with high-profile features from The Weeknd, SZA, Ariana Grande, Young Thug, everyone, you name it. It became the top-selling R&B project of the year and sent Doja's fame skyrocketing even higher. On top of all that, the project showed how versatile Doja was. Like, she's not only a legit pop star, but could still get busy with some bars, so she had it going on. If you would have told me that the dude eating roaches on camera would end up scoring Louis Vuitton shows 10 years later, me personally, I wouldn't see it. Tyler, the Creator, has low-key become one of the most prolific, imaginative artists working in the music industry today. Which, if you followed his career from the very beginning, it's actually crazy. This is the guy who brought shock rap back in vogue to being selected to do the soundtrack for the Grinch movie. But what's really wild about Tyler's whole career trajectory is that he hasn't compromised one single bit when it comes to his artistry and vision. And when you really consider the pressure cooker that the industry puts a lot of people through, you really start to appreciate how rare someone like Tyler is. So how exactly did he go from being the angry teenager promising to stab Bruno Mars to being one of the most acclaimed, successful musicians in the game? From the jump, Tyler's been hit with obstacle after obstacle threatening to derail his path, but he's managed to persevere while still staying true to himself. And at the very same time, Tyler has been unafraid when it comes to going left and switching styles on his audience by innovating his content and his sound. So let's double back to where it all started. Tyler Akoma was born in 1991 in Hawthorne, California. From the time he was small, young Tyler would take the liner notes out of CD cases and invent his own imaginary albums before he was even making music by writing his fantasy track lists. Tyler never met his father and was raised by his mom. When he started releasing music, a lot of his early work was shaped around the anger and abandonment he felt towards his absentee dad. By the time he was 14 years old, Tyler taught himself how to play piano. But unfortunately, his personality and antics kept him from being recognized in school. He got kicked out of drama class because he was, quote, too hyper, and wasn't allowed to join band because he couldn't read music. Even though Tyler didn't get any kind of conventional support from the people around him, it wouldn't keep him from making big moves. In 2007, Tyler became a founding member of Odd Future, a rap collective that would later go on to make major waves through not only California's hip-hop scene, but the entire world. The shock value of Tyler, the Creator, and Odd Future's music drummed up a lot of attention and press. People started comparing Tyler to Eminem because of how berserk his lyrics were. Between 2009 and 10, Odd Future started adding new members, including most notably Frank Ocean and Earl Sweatshirt. In 2011, things started to go supernova for Tyler, the Creator. One of the big turning points in his career came when Odd Future was booked on the Late Night Show with Jimmy Fallon. Right away, Tyler hopped on Twitter to announce his upcoming appearance while also declaring he wanted to, quote, scare the out of old white people that live in middle America. Odd Future's set went instantly viral because of how bat crazy things got. He and Haji Beats showed up in ski masks, ran around the set, jumped on Jimmy Fallon's back, and popped a Supreme hat on the host's head. Mos Def, who was already an Odd Future fan and had showed up to see their performance, ran onto the set and started screaming swag into the camera. Their appearance on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon was Odd Future's introduction to the world, and it cemented Tyler as somebody to watch out for. His most recent release was an expanded version of his Grammy-winning Call Me If You Get Lost album, called The Estate Sale, that included a number of bonus tracks and demos. Even though the album had been out for almost 2 years, its re-release catapulted the project back to #1 on the Billboard charts, making history in the process. It's safe to say that Tyler, the Creator, has lived up to his name. He's a non-stop creativity machine, and he's gone from being a rebellious teenager to an unstoppable music and fashion juggernaut. There's plenty of artists who will hit it big with their debut album and spend the whole rest of their lives trying to chase the high of that popularity. Tyler, however, came right out the gate making waves and has only proceeded to exceed expectations and grow his fan base. If we're being honest, award ceremonies like the Grammys usually follow a pretty predictable script. But this year was definitely different. Not only did Killer Mike pull off an unexpected sweep across the Grammys rap categories, knocking out the expected frontrunner Travis Scott, but he was also arrested and escorted from the building before the end of the show. So the question that was really on everyone's minds was, what did Killer Mike do backstage to get cuffed up? For a lot of fans, Killer Mike's Grammys wins were a total surprise. Not that he's not respected as an artist, but Mike's presence in hip-hop has always come with an underdog mentality. But after pulling awards for Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Rap Album, it looked like Killer Mike got a little too carried away with the celebration. After accepting his awards, the news broke that Mike had been arrested for a physical altercation. Footage quickly went viral of Killer Mike being led through the Crypto.com arena and handcuffs by a squad of cops. But at the time, nobody was really sure what had happened. Did Killer Mike actually assault somebody, or was this a classic case of security overstepping their bounds? Killer Mike's team came out to control the narrative, blaming the whole incident on, quote, an overzealous security guard. Killer Mike also clarified that the situation stemmed from confusion over his team not knowing what door they were allowed to go through once they were backstage. But law enforcement sources later claimed that Killer Mike had, quote, multiple instances of physical contact with a female security guard. More explicitly, Killer Mike had allegedly shoved the Grammy security guard twice and then supposedly threw an elbow at them after the guard tried to keep Killer Mike and his team from entering a restricted security checkpoint area. The alleged confrontation led the security guard to make a citizen's arrest of Killer Mike, with LAPD officers later cuffing and escorting him from the building. As a result, Killer Mike was booked on a misdemeanor battery charge. It's very clear here that there are two sides to the story. In one version, you have Killer Mike basically getting into a misunderstanding where he was supposed to go after his sweeping categories. In the other, you have Mike accused of getting physical with a woman who was supposedly just trying to do her job. Regardless of who may have been wrong, one thing's for sure, Killer Mike getting arrested was controversial as hell.